Welcome to a championship edition of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. Coach, we put out that little short one to get everybody to the party, and we had a good crowd out there. It was fantastic. I was on pins and needles the entire football game, even at the end right there until we got that last interception. I was sitting there going, okay, this Brooks team is quick. They're fast. They're doing well. I can't imagine what was going through your head, but tell us about the feeling of getting another state championship for Dublin High School.
Well, Jason, we're honored. We feel like we're blessed. You know, this football team, we talk all the time about football being a game that teaches kids life lessons. And it kind of hit me this weekend that this football team was the perfect example of a life lesson. You know, a lot of people made a lot of comments about the fact that all we do is run the football. You know, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, as Zion said. But at the end of the day, that's what this football team had. You know, they had the ability to do that. That was the gift that God had given this group. You know, when you go out into life, there's that saying about you got to learn to live within your means.
Right.
You know, if you have a lot, you can spend a lot. If you don't have a lot, you can't spend a lot. You got to live within your means. And this football team stayed true to that course and taking what we had available to us and making the most of it. And that was a tremendous group of offensive linemen.
You said it was the strongest and the biggest you'd ever coached.
Yeah, and that's what we had. You know, we had tremendous running backs. We had a quarterback that could distribute the football to those kids and lead this football team. Defensively, we had so many guys step up and make plays.
Yes.
It wasn't always the strength of just everything. We weren't dominating on that side of the ball, but then we had the knowledge of Nick Collins and the defensive coaches and their beliefs and figuring out what we had to do the best to be complementary and taking care of this football team. So as a life lesson goes, I hope these kids take that with them as they continue to grow and remember it's not necessarily about what we want to do. It's what we have the means and the capabilities of doing. And couldn't be more proud of this group for handling it that way.
Well, I'm going to tell you, what's the old saying? You got to dance with the girl you brought
to
the dance. So, I mean, we danced all the way to a state championship, and I'm going to tell you how much I appreciate the number of fans who came to the game. It was wet. It was cold. And our side of the stands were about as chock full as you're going to get for that kind of weather and experience. They were loud. They were proud. They were screaming DUB. They were screaming Dublin. They were screaming Irish. And we just can't say thank you enough to everybody for that, for the escort home. We had such a great escort home. We had all the law enforcement waiting for us when we got here. Everybody came in.
Those guys picked us up. They led us all the way up there. They led us all the way back. When we got to the Cochran exit on 39, there were two more waiting there, and then they picked us up in town. What an unbelievable experience. I think it was well-deserved for these young men.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we're just a football team. Those guys that wear that blue put their life on the line every day for us, and we appreciate what they do. It was a special thank you from them, but I think what everybody needs to understand is we owe them a whole lot more than they owe us.
Yes. And I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate the way this community has come together and rallied behind this football team. We've had good crowds here all season. We talked about that, Coach. We've had good home crowds all year long. And then we had fantastic road crowds. I can tell you right now, that Thomasville crowd was as good as any Shamrock Bowl crowd that we had. They were packed and they were pumped, and I know they played a role in helping these young men make it to a championship. Now, Coach, now that we're done with the championship, we get to celebrate the championship with stuff like this T-shirt. We sold those during the after party, but they're still on sale now. Got a variety of prices. I think it's $15 for this shirt, and then the prices go up because we have a long sleeve T-shirt and a hoodie. We'll make sure to flash those prices for you. Miss Pam Jones, our nutrition director and a proud Dublin Irish supporter. She's been big helping this team even when her son was playing back in the day. She is the person to contact to purchase those shirts. We're going to keep providing.
They're going to be available as long as we can. We've got people that want them. the little bit that we make off of these shirts gives us an opportunity to put towards state championship rings for this football team. That's what every kid, when they don't talk about winning the state championship anymore. It's about getting the ring, and we're going to get one, and we hope to be able to provide a nice one. It's a lot goes into winning one.
Yes.
It's not always talent. It's not always coaching. It's a little bit of God's blessings.
Yes.
You got to stay healthy. You've got to have a break along the way. You've got to have the community support that we've so talked about on a weekly basis, how these people have just supported the heck out of these kids. And they can make great Christmas presents, and they're a lifetime memory for a lot of us here. And so get a hold of Miss Pam. We'll continue to have shirts printed up and those type of things as long as we've got people that want them.
We also want to let you guys know that the Boston Butt Sale is still ongoing. I think tomorrow's the deadline for tickets. They're going to be cooking Friday, I think it is, the 20, was it? No, the
They're
21st.
Friday night and selling them
Yeah.
on Saturday here right out where the Touchdown Club right in front of the Shamrock Bowl. They'll be set up with those. And that's another fundraiser that we're doing to help, again, pay for the expenses of rewarding this football team for this state championship.
And we'll also take any contributions that you'd like to join the Touchdown Club. We've got a variety of levels of which you can still join. We'll be glad to have you come be part of this program. Want to make sure that everybody takes a chance. If you see one of these young men out and about, be sure to shake their hand and congratulate them. I remember when we met during Picture Day in July, the whole goal was to try to compete at a high level and maybe compete for a state championship. And to reach that goal, you just don't know how many Sundays I've driven past this place and I see somebody's F-150 sitting out there, and then when I come back through, there's all the rest of the coaching staff out here. So I want to make sure that we thank all these coaches, their wives, and their families, thank all these children and their families, our sponsors, all of these people who contributed time, talent, and treasure to make sure that this team could be at their best every Friday night. And thanks to y'all, we've got a title and a trophy. But we can't stop now, Coach. We got to do one more Mustache Coach a question. All right, Coach. We've had all kinds of mustaches everywhere. You start running thin, but I think we had two great competitors for this week's, and one of them is going to hit close to home, awfully close to home. Let's go ahead and go to the tail of the tape. Our first competitor is Mr. Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, former linebacker for the Patriots, won a couple Super Bowls. So there's Coach Vrabel.
Just watched him on TV yesterday.
Yes. And then we got to pit him up against Roger Holmes, your own son. He shaved back a bunch of it and had him a good little mustache going I saw over the weekend. So we had to make him. He actually sent in a contribution earlier in this year, so we had to reward him since he's got a nice-looking mustache. So, Coach, who you got this week?
I'm throwing away the mustaches. I see that state championship trophy. So, Riley, you won. You got the state championship trophy in your hand.
He changed the whole dynamic. But, again, we want to thank y'all so much for tuning into us every week for the past 20 episodes. Want to make sure that you guys have a blessed Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We're going to be having a good time because we got a trophy that we get to put in the display case. We'll make sure to give you updates as we come about with the championship rings. Be sure to support these young men, these coaches, support all our students here at Dublin City Schools. And this has been 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.
State champ! We did it, man. We did it. State champ! We did it, man. We did it. State champ!